Explosive footage just leaked from behind the scenes at SmackDown that WWE executives are desperately trying to keep from going public. What you're about to see will completely change how you view the Bloodline civil war and expose the real tensions tearing apart wrestling's most dominant family dynasty. The confrontation between Jimmy Uso, Sami Zayn, and Solo Sikoa wasn't just another scripted segment. This was raw, unfiltered emotion exploding in the backstage area while cameras rolled, capturing moments that WWE never intended for you to see. The verbal assault, the physical intimidation, and the shocking revelations about family loyalty will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the Bloodline's internal warfare. But here's what's going to make your blood boil. This backstage explosion happened just hours after Jimmy Uso announced that he and Naomi are expecting their first child together. While Jimmy should have been celebrating the biggest moment of his personal life, Solo Sikoa chose that exact moment to launch a psychological attack that crossed every line of decency and family respect. The ambush that nobody saw coming. The backstage area at SmackDown was supposed to be neutral territory, a place where wrestlers could decompress between segments and prepare for their matches without the intensity of live television. But Solo Sikoa had other plans, and his decision to confront Jimmy Uso in what should have been a private moment reveals the calculated cruelty that has driven the Bloodline's civil war to dangerous new levels. Jimmy was walking through the corridor, probably still processing the overwhelming response to his pregnancy announcement with Naomi, when Solo emerged from the shadows like a predator stalking wounded prey. The timing wasn't coincidental. Solo knew exactly what he was doing when he chose to strike at Jimmy's most emotionally vulnerable moment. The confrontation began with Solo's trademark cold stare, the same intimidating presence that has made him one of WWE's most feared competitors. But this wasn't about in-ring competition or championship aspirations. This was personal, family business that had festered for months, finally erupting in the most explosive way possible. Sami Zayn's involvement in the confrontation adds layers of complexity that make this situation even more volatile. His presence transforms what could have been a private family dispute into a public spectacle that threatens to tear the Bloodline apart from the inside while exposing their vulnerabilities to outside interference. The fact that this confrontation was captured on video means that every word, every gesture, and every moment of tension is now preserved forever, creating evidence that will fuel speculation and controversy for months to come. Solo Sikoa's calculated psychological warfare. Solo Sikoa's decision to confront Jimmy Uso immediately after the pregnancy announcement reveals a level of psychological manipulation that goes far beyond typical wrestling antagonism. This wasn't spontaneous anger or competitive rivalry. This was a calculated attack designed to inflict maximum emotional damage at Jimmy's most vulnerable moment. The United States champion has been systematically dismantling the Bloodline's unity through a combination of physical dominance and psychological warfare, but his attack on Jimmy represents a new low in their family conflict. By choosing to strike when Jimmy should have been celebrating impending fatherhood, Solo demonstrated that no moment is sacred in his quest for family dominance. Solo's words during the confrontation reportedly focused on Jimmy's loyalty, his decision-making, and his worthiness to carry the Bloodline legacy forward. These aren't just wrestling insults. They're deeply personal attacks designed to undermine Jimmy's confidence and question his place in the family hierarchy. The timing of Solo's attack also sends a clear message to every member of the Bloodline. Solo will exploit any moment of weakness, any personal milestone, and any emotional vulnerability in his relentless pursuit of power. This creates an atmosphere of constant tension where family members can never truly relax or celebrate personal achievements. The psychological impact of Solo's attack extends beyond Jimmy to affect Naomi as well, turning what should have been a joyous time in their relationship into another battlefield in the Bloodline's internal war. Sami Zayn's unexpected intervention. Sami Zayn's role in this backstage confrontation is perhaps the most intriguing aspect of the entire situation. As someone who has been both an ally and enemy to various Bloodline members over the years, his decision to involve himself in this family dispute reveals motivations that go far beyond his stated goal of winning the United States Championship. Zayn's intervention came at a crucial moment when the confrontation between Solo and Jimmy was escalating toward potential violence. His presence immediately changed the dynamics of the situation, transforming a personal family dispute into a more complex three-way confrontation with multiple layers of history and rivalry. The fact that Zayn chose to support Jimmy in this confrontation is significant given their complicated history and the ongoing tensions within the Bloodline storyline. His decision suggests that his motivations go beyond simple championship aspirations and into the realm of genuine concern for Jimmy's well-being. Zayn's involvement also demonstrates his strategic thinking. By inserting himself into the Bloodline's internal conflicts, he's positioning himself as a power broker who can influence the family's dynamics while pursuing his own championship goals. This calculated move shows that Zayn understands the political complexities of WWE's backstage environment. The chemistry between Zayn and Jimmy during this confrontation suggests a growing alliance that could have major implications for future storylines and championship opportunities. The family betrayal that cuts deepest. The most heartbreaking aspect of this backstage confrontation is how it represents the complete breakdown of family bonds that were once unbreakable. Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa aren't just wrestling colleagues or storyline rivals, they're cousins who grew up together, trained together, and built their careers as part of the same family legacy. Solo's decision to attack Jimmy at such a personal moment represents a betrayal that goes beyond professional competition into the realm of family destruction. This isn't about championship opportunities or creative differences, this is about one family member deliberately trying to destroy another's happiness and peace of mind. The generational implications of this betrayal are staggering. The Anoa family has built its reputation on loyalty, mutual support, and collective success spanning multiple decades. Solo's actions threaten to destroy that legacy and replace it with a culture of internal competition and psychological warfare. Jimmy's reaction to Solo's betrayal reveals the deep emotional pain that comes with family conflict. This isn't just professional disappointment, this is the heartbreak of watching someone you trusted and loved choose power over family bonds. The fact that this confrontation happened immediately after Jimmy's pregnancy announcement makes Solo's betrayal even more cruel, as it turns what should have been a moment of pure joy into another source of stress and conflict. The championship implications that nobody discusses. While the personal drama dominates headlines, the championship implications of this backstage confrontation are equally significant for WWE's long-term storytelling. Solo Sikoa's United States Championship reign has been built on his ability to intimidate and dominate opponents both inside and outside the ring, but this confrontation reveals potential vulnerabilities that could be exploited. Sami Zayn's involvement in the confrontation strengthens his position as the primary challenger for Solo's championship while also establishing him as someone willing to stand up to the Bloodline's internal politics. This positioning could make him a more compelling champion if he eventually wins the title. Jimmy Uso's confrontation with Solo also raises questions about his own championship aspirations and his role in the ongoing Bloodline storyline. His willingness to stand up to Solo despite the personal costs demonstrates character development that could lead to future main event opportunities. The championship division's dynamics are being reshaped by these personal conflicts in ways that make title matches more emotionally invested and personally meaningful for the performers involved. The fact that championship implications are intertwined with family dynamics creates storytelling opportunities that go far beyond typical wrestling rivalries. The locker room reaction that WWE wants hidden. Behind the scenes, the wrestling locker room's reaction to this confrontation has been intense and divided, with veteran performers expressing concern about the personal nature of the conflict and younger talent taking sides based on their relationships with the involved parties. WWE management is reportedly worried about how these real tensions might affect on-screen storytelling and backstage morale. Multiple sources confirm that other wrestlers witnessed the confrontation and were shocked by the personal nature of Solo's attack on Jimmy. The fact that this happened in front of colleagues adds an element of public humiliation that makes the situation even more volatile. The locker room's division over this confrontation reflects broader tensions within WWE's roster about the Bloodline's dominance and the perceived preferential treatment given to certain family members. Some wrestlers see this as an opportunity to challenge the Bloodline's power structure. Veteran performers who have worked with multiple generations of the Anoa family are reportedly concerned about how these public conflicts might damage the family's long-term reputation and influence within the wrestling industry. The backstage reaction also includes concerns about how these real tensions might spill over into in-ring performances and create unsafe working conditions for everyone involved. The timing that makes everything worse. The timing of this confrontation couldn't have been worse from multiple perspectives, creating a perfect storm of personal vulnerability, professional pressure, and family conflict that threatens to destroy relationships that have been built over decades of shared success. Jimmy Uso's pregnancy announcement with Naomi should have been a moment of pure celebration, but Solo's decision to attack him immediately afterward turned joy into anguish and created emotional trauma that will affect the entire family dynamic going forward. From a professional perspective, the timing disrupts WWE's carefully planned storylines and creates unpredictable variables that could affect television programming, pay-per-view events, and long-term creative planning. The fact that this confrontation was captured on video during a time when Jimmy was emotionally vulnerable means that the footage will serve as permanent evidence of Solo's cruelty and calculated manipulation. The timing also affects Sami Zayn's championship pursuits, as his involvement in family drama could complicate his positioning as a legitimate title challenger and create additional obstacles in his quest for championship success. The security footage that reveals everything. WWE's extensive security camera system captured every moment of this backstage confrontation, creating video evidence that reveals the true nature of the conflict and the genuine emotions involved. This footage shows that the tensions between these performers go far beyond scripted storylines into the realm of real personal conflict. The security footage reportedly shows Solo's calculated approach to the confrontation, revealing that his attack on Jimmy wasn't spontaneous but rather a premeditated assault designed to cause maximum psychological damage. This premeditation makes his actions even more disturbing and cruel. Jimmy's reactions captured on security footage show genuine emotional distress that goes beyond professional acting, demonstrating the real impact that Solo's words and actions had on someone who should have been celebrating personal happiness. Sami Zayn's intervention is also captured on security footage, showing his genuine concern for Jimmy's well-being and his strategic thinking in defusing a potentially explosive situation. The existence of this security footage creates potential legal and professional implications that could affect all three performers' careers and relationships within WWE. The corporate response that exposes WWE's priorities. WWE's corporate response to this backstage confrontation reveals their priorities and their approach to managing real conflicts between performers who are supposed to be professional colleagues. The company's initial attempt to downplay the situation and control the narrative shows their concern about how real drama might affect their carefully constructed storylines. Executive producers and creative team members are reportedly scrambling to figure out how to incorporate these real tensions into their television programming without exposing the genuine animosity that exists between family members. The legal department's involvement in managing the aftermath of this confrontation suggests that WWE is concerned about potential lawsuits, workplace harassment claims, and other professional consequences that could arise from Solo's behavior. Corporate sponsors and broadcasting partners are being briefed on the situation to ensure that any potential fallout doesn't affect WWE's business relationships and revenue streams. The company's handling of this situation will set precedents for how similar conflicts are managed in the future and could affect WWE's reputation as a professional workplace. The social media explosion that changed everything. Social media's reaction to news of this backstage confrontation has been explosive, with fans taking sides, demanding justice for Jimmy Uso, and questioning Solo Sikoa's character both as a performer and as a family member. The viral nature of the story has forced WWE to address the situation publicly rather than handling it quietly behind the scenes. Fan reactions range from outrage at Solo's timing and cruelty to support for Sami Zayn's intervention and concern for Jimmy's emotional well-being during what should have been a celebratory time in his personal life. The hashtag movements supporting Jimmy and condemning Solo's behavior have generated millions of interactions, creating public pressure for WWE to take action and address the situation in their television programming. Celebrity wrestlers and industry veterans have used social media to express their opinions on the confrontation, with many condemning Solo's behavior and praising Jimmy's restraint in not escalating the situation to physical violence. The social media explosion has also generated mainstream media attention, bringing additional scrutiny to WWE's handling of backstage conflicts and workplace behavior. The psychological damage that lingers. The long-term psychological impact of this confrontation on Jimmy Uso cannot be underestimated, as Solo's attack came at a moment when Jimmy was emotionally vulnerable and should have been experiencing pure joy about his impending fatherhood. This kind of psychological warfare creates trauma that extends far beyond professional wrestling. Jimmy's ability to focus on his wrestling career and storyline responsibilities is now compromised by the emotional stress of dealing with family betrayal and personal attacks during what should have been a celebratory time in his life. The impact on Jimmy's relationship with Naomi is also concerning, as this confrontation has turned their pregnancy announcement into another source of stress and conflict rather than the joyous milestone it should have been. The psychological damage extends to other family members who are forced to choose sides in this conflict and deal with the breakdown of relationships that were once sources of strength and support. The long-term effects of this psychological warfare could affect Jimmy's performance, his health, and his ability to maintain the professional relationships necessary for success in the wrestling industry. The alliance that changes everything. Sami Zayn's decision to stand with Jimmy Uso during this confrontation has created an alliance that could reshape the Bloodline storyline and create new opportunities for both performers to challenge Solo Sikoa's dominance within the family structure. This alliance brings together Jimmy's insider knowledge of Bloodline dynamics with Sami's strategic thinking and championship experience, creating a formidable partnership that could threaten Solo's position as the family's dominant force. The personal nature of their bond, forged in the heat of this backstage confrontation, adds authenticity to their partnership that goes beyond typical wrestling alliances and creates emotional investment for fans. Their combined abilities and mutual support system could make them more effective in challenging Solo's championship reign and his attempts to control the Bloodline's direction. The alliance also provides Jimmy with emotional support during a difficult time while giving Sami access to Bloodline insider information that could be crucial in his championship pursuits. The championship chase that becomes personal. Sami Zayn's pursuit of Solo Sikoa's United States Championship has evolved from a professional goal into a personal mission to hold Solo accountable for his cruel behavior and psychological warfare against family members. This transformation makes their eventual championship match more emotionally invested and personally meaningful. The championship chase now represents more than just title prestige, it's become a battle for justice, family honor, and the soul of the bloodline itself. This adds layers of meaning that make every interaction between Sami and Solo more significant. Jimmy Uso's support for Sami's championship aspirations creates additional pressure on Solo and demonstrates that his behavior has cost him family loyalty and support. This isolation could be exploited in future championship matches. The personal nature of the championship chase also creates storytelling opportunities that go beyond typical title feuds and into the realm of moral conflicts and family drama that resonate with audiences on deeper levels. The championship match, when it eventually happens, will serve as a referendum on Solo's behavior and his worthiness to represent the bloodline as a champion. The family legacy that hangs in balance. This backstage confrontation represents a pivotal moment in the Anoa'i family's wrestling legacy, as the next generation's behavior and values will determine whether the family's reputation for honor and mutual support continues or is replaced by a culture of internal competition and psychological warfare. Solo Sikoa's actions threaten to damage the family's reputation that has been built over generations of successful wrestlers who supported each other and represented the family name with dignity and respect. Jimmy Uso's response to this confrontation will help determine whether the bloodline can recover from these internal conflicts and return to their traditional values of family unity and mutual support. The younger generation's handling of these conflicts will set precedents for how future family members approach professional wrestling and family relationships within the industry. The legacy implications extend beyond wrestling into the broader entertainment industry, where the bloodline's influence and reputation affect opportunities for all family members. The locker room politics that nobody discusses. Behind the scenes, this confrontation has created ripple effects throughout WWE's locker room politics, with wrestlers choosing sides, forming alliances, and positioning themselves to benefit from the bloodline's internal conflicts. The political ramifications extend far beyond the three performers directly involved. Veterans who have worked with multiple generations of the Anoa'i family are concerned about how these public conflicts might affect the family's long-term influence and power within WWE's political structure. Younger wrestlers are watching closely to see how WWE management handles this situation, as it will set precedents for how similar conflicts are addressed and what behavior is considered acceptable in backstage areas. The confrontation has also created opportunities for wrestlers who have been overshadowed by the bloodline's dominance to position themselves as alternatives and challengers to the family's traditional power structure. The political implications affect everything from storyline assignments and championship opportunities to merchandise deals and mainstream media appearances. The management crisis that threatens stability. WWE management's response to this backstage confrontation reveals internal disagreements about how to handle real conflicts between performers while maintaining the illusion of scripted entertainment. The situation has created a management crisis that could affect the company's stability and reputation. Creative team members are divided about whether to incorporate these real tensions into their television programming or try to separate personal conflicts from professional storylines. Human resources personnel are involved in investigating potential workplace harassment issues and ensuring that WWE maintains appropriate professional standards in backstage areas. Legal advisors are concerned about potential lawsuits and liability issues that could arise from Solo's behavior and the company's response to the situation. The management crisis also affects WWE's relationships with sponsors, broadcasting partners, and other business stakeholders who expect professional behavior from the company's performers. The sponsorship implications that affect everyone. The viral nature of this backstage confrontation has created sponsorship and marketing complications for WWE, as corporate partners evaluate whether the real drama enhances or damages their association with the company's brand. Solo Sikoa's behavior during the confrontation could affect his individual sponsorship opportunities and his value as a marketing representative for WWE and its partners. Jimmy Uso's handling of the situation and the public sympathy for his position could create new marketing opportunities and sponsorship deals that capitalize on his positive image and family story. Sami Zayn's role as the voice of reason and protector could enhance his marketability and create opportunities for sponsorships that align with his positive image. The overall situation affects WWE's ability to market the bloodline as a unified brand and could require significant adjustments to their promotional strategies. The international reaction that surprises everyone. The global wrestling community's reaction to this backstage confrontation has been intense and widespread, with international fans and media outlets covering the story and expressing opinions about the behavior of all three performers involved. International wrestling promotions are watching closely to see how WWE handles this situation, as it could affect their own approaches to managing real conflicts between performers. The Samoan wrestling community, which has deep connections to the Bloodline family, has expressed concern about how these public conflicts might affect the reputation of Samoan wrestlers in the international wrestling scene. Media outlets in countries where WWE has significant business interests are covering the story and analyzing its implications for the company's global expansion plans. The international reaction demonstrates how the Bloodline's influence extends far beyond WWE and American wrestling into the global entertainment landscape. The health implications that nobody considers. The psychological stress created by this backstage confrontation has potential health implications for all three performers involved, particularly Jimmy Uso, who is dealing with the emotional impact of family betrayal during what should be a joyous time in his personal life. The stress of ongoing family conflicts could affect Jimmy's physical health, his performance in the ring, and his ability to maintain the professional relationships necessary for career success. Solo Sikoa's aggressive behavior and psychological warfare tactics suggest potential underlying issues that could affect his own mental health and professional relationships within the wrestling industry. Sami Zayn's role as mediator and protector places additional stress on him as he navigates complex family dynamics while pursuing his own championship goals. The health implications extend beyond the individuals involved to affect WWE's overall roster stability and the company's ability to maintain consistent programming. The future storylines that write themselves. This backstage confrontation has created storytelling opportunities that could sustain WWE programming for months or even years, as the real emotions and genuine conflicts provide authentic drama that resonates with audiences. The alliance between Jimmy Uso and Sami Zayn creates possibilities for tag team partnerships, mutual championship support, and collaborative efforts to hold Solo Sikoa accountable for his behavior. Solo's isolation from family members and the negative reaction to his behavior creates opportunities for redemption storylines or deeper descent into villainy depending on how the situation develops. The championship implications provide natural progression toward a title match that will serve as a referendum on Solo's behavior and his worthiness to represent the Bloodline as a champion. The family dynamics create opportunities for other Bloodline members to get involved and choose sides in the ongoing conflict between traditional family values and Solo's aggressive new direction. The reality that changes wrestling forever. This backstage confrontation represents a fundamental shift in how professional wrestling handles the intersection between real personal conflicts and scripted entertainment, creating new challenges and opportunities for the industry. The viral nature of real drama and its impact on storytelling demonstrates how social media and fan engagement have changed the wrestling landscape and forced companies to be more transparent about backstage situations. The psychological warfare tactics used by Solo Sikoa represent an evolution in wrestling antagonism that goes beyond physical confrontation into emotional and mental manipulation. The genuine emotions and real conflicts provide authenticity that audiences crave while creating professional challenges for performers and management teams. The situation sets precedents for how similar conflicts will be handled in the future and establishes new standards for professional behavior in backstage areas.